South Africa and its major cities are facing one of the biggest challenges as the 21st century gets underway. The city is full of life and people are crying out for investment and infrastructure.
We've had a 20-year period or more prior to the present period where the city fathers didn't think of maintaining their assets. So one of our key processes at the present moment is ensuring that we have got money and resources available to maintain our assets, to keep our services going, to deliver those services to our people.
One of the biggest challenges is more and more people are coming to live in cities, putting strain on infrastructure.
They are centers, they are magnets for attracting people. So when it comes to the question of migration, people move to cities looking for better prospects, for job opportunities, improving their lives.
The fact that it is predicted by statistics anyway, that by 2050, 80% of South Africans will be living in 30 out of 278 municipalities is quite astonishing. It begins to tell you that you need to start restructuring. You need to start preparing the infrastructure to be able to accommodate those people. You need to start densifying because you don't have a lot of land to play around. You can't continue on sprawl. So I think urbanization is the first biggest problem. Secondly, I think there's a challenge of climate change. Climate change is such one big conundrum. What do you do when there's no water? Do you continue to encourage your citizens to plant their own food? You can't, because you're inevitably saying that they should use more water. What do you do when you're running out of energy? Do you encourage your citizens to use alternative green energy? Yes, you want to do that, but you must know that the impact is that there's a negative impact on the resources of the municipality.
The biggest issue is to make sure that money goes to the right places at the right time, so cities of South Africa can withstand urbanization and prosper.
What are the future revenue streams for our municipalities, particularly as these are experiencing high levels of migration and immigration into their cities? How do we ensure that they remain sustainable? And for those that are facing challenges, how do we enable them to overcome the challenges that they have? And we can't think about the issue in the immediate. We have to think about it in the future and say that we have to secure the long-term sustainability of our municipalities.
The municipalities receive approximately 8% of the entire nationally collected revenue, and of that they budgeted as a whole for all 9 cities. They budgeted 184 billion rand over the period of 2014. So the majority of that money goes to capital expenditure and operating expenditure. So capital expenditure are those projects which invest in capital infrastructure growth and grow the economy, and the operating expenditure components are those which go into the daily operations of a municipality. So repairing roads, paying for employees, bulk purchases for water and electricity and the like. It's no secret that we're operating in a constrained economic environment, and the outlook doesn't look as great as we've seen. So we've seen the Minister of Finance projecting numbers into the future which aren't as high as we had hoped, and those numbers keep declining. So the economic outlook is one of stagnation. Is that cities really need to find additional sources of revenue and explore efficiencies in the current system to maximize revenue potential. Because the needs in cities are growing, they aren't stagnating. Although the economy might be stagnating, the needs in cities continue to grow. So cities need to find revenue sources that allow them to drive the growth and development function that they need to play, not only for their locality, but for the national economy as well. So what we're saying is they need to maximize efficiencies, get the basics right, and continue to show improvements on getting those basics right. Secondly, they need to explore additional areas of revenue, so additional areas of tax revenue, whether that's a business tax, which we've heard from the mayor, or some other taxation, whether it's vehicle licensing. And cities need to explore these and speak to their national counterparts about where there's enough space to try and explore some of these additional revenue streams. They need to continue to lobby for additional nationally collected revenue from the national fiscus. They need to continue to lobby and drive an agenda around their role as important national strategic sites for development as more and more people come to cities. And lastly, we argue that cities' voices need to become more prominent in intergovernmental forums. So especially in fiscal intergovernmental forums where these big decisions around budget allocations and division of revenue are being decided.
Cities need to work together. They have to find out how to best do this.
And it is about imagining a different future from the current state of our municipal finances. And the debate has to be with South Africans. The debate has to be with the Republic about what are the future revenue streams for our municipalities.
The fourth State of the City's Finances report was launched by Joburg City Mayor Park Staal. The report assesses topics of financial management and innovation. It focuses on 9 major metros such as Johannesburg, Cape Town, eThekwini, Ekurhuleni, Nelson Mandela Bay, Balfour Park, Mangaung and Msunduzi.
The South African Cities Network is a network of the large municipalities in the country. It's really a research and benchmarking and information sharing body. We're able to work with each other and ensure that we're able to share best practices.
There's an incredible amount of information here which helps us to look forward and to be able to strategize the best for our city.
The economy of Mangaung is actually very much supported by the neighboring Basotho, but it's also the capital of the Free State province. Thus, our seat of government of the province of the Free State is actually in Mangaung. And you would appreciate that also Mangaung is a border city for actually the areas of Northern Cape and also for areas close to the Lesotho. Thus, we actually have that very, very close or links that we have with a number of provinces. The province itself it's actually bordering a number of provinces in the country. Thus, it actually borders close to 7 provinces of the country. Thus, strategically, we are actually at the nucleus of the city of the country as the Free State province.
And now, how are you capitalizing in the future, planning around your development goals to make sure that you move the city forward and make money?
One of the things that we are doing is to repackage land. One of the major important functions of the city is spatial planning. You'd appreciate that SPLUMA is actually the new legislation that actually empowers the cities to actually finalize all spatial transformations. And also that would assist us in actually transforming the apartheid spatial framework. The good thing about Mangaung is that we are owners of very strategic land. Because Mangaung did not have mines, the boundaries between the apartheid boundaries were created with tracts of land. And these tracts of land were always kept by government because they were actually meant to be that boundary between the different racial groups. We are now using that as a benefit. We are now doing infill development. We are packaging land parcels to actually be able to place our residents in very strategic location to drive the social exclusion and to actually give what we call moral justice. Because if you can bring people closer to work opportunities and closer to CBDs, you reduce the cost of travel, you actually make cities that are actually walking cities, and we believe that in the next 5 years that city would actually be transformed into a model of the non-motorized transport system in the country. The second thing that we are doing is that we are actually servicing these portions of lands. These are not small portions of land. Just close to our airport we have close to 2,000 hectares of land that is owned by the city. What we are doing is that we are putting in bulk infrastructure, sanitation, water and electricity to service that land. We're then inviting the private sector to come and invest. In the a recent 2 years, we now have close to 500 houses coming and building in that node. And this would not have happened if we had not kick-started the development in terms of bulk infrastructure. The other thing that we are doing is that we are now implementing our integrated public transport system. And our integrated public transport system, like I said, we are recognizing the fact that our communities are non-motorized. We actually have started with a paving program of our walk paths in the inner city. And we're extending this paving program to actually cover all our CBDs. And this is done on the backbone of small entrepreneurs. And these small entrepreneurs in the past 3 years have actually created, and they have moved from being CIDB 1 to CIDB 7, just as a backbone of using the city's maintenance budget to create sustainable jobs.